Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Lorianne. If it's not your first time here, welcome. I'm Lorianne. I know, I felt like I had to reintroduce myself. It's been a minute. Truly, I didn't realize how long it had been since my last upload until I started getting your messages and DMs on Instagram asking like if everything was okay and like what my plans were for the channel, like if it was done or if I was planning on coming back. And for a while I wasn't quite sure. I don't want to get into all of the things, but this year has been a little crazy for our family. It's been very trying. We're okay, we're fine, everything will be fine. It's just been a lot to deal with and go through, and it's taken a lot out of me, and I really didn't have anything to give in any area of my life. And then recently I kind of felt like this creative spark, and so I am back, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that you're here spending some of your time with me today because I know that you're busy. So I would say raise your hands, but I can't see your hands. So instead, hit the like button if you are a parent who is equal parts excited for your kids to go back to school, but also overwhelmed at the idea of your kids going back to school, especially if we're talking about young kids, like preschool age children, even kindergarten age children. Back to school can be a really difficult transition for kids and families. For a lot of preschoolers, it might be the first time they're going to school, so they've got a lot of emotions around it. They might be excited, but also nervous to be away from you or in a classroom all day with other kids that they don't know yet. And that fear can bring on a lot of emotions that become overwhelming for you, more tantrums, more defiance in the morning. On the parents' end, you got all kinds of forms you gotta fill out. You gotta get them to a doctor's appointment for physicals before school starts. You got to do the shopping for supplies and clothes. You've got to come up with a morning routine that can work for everybody. There's just a lot that goes into back to school, not only for the children, but also for parents. But my goal in today's video is to share 7 really easy hacks that you can implement to help take the overwhelm away from the equation so that you can lean more into the exciting part of your kids going back to school. Now here in New Jersey and in the rest of the Northeast, our kids haven't gone back to school yet. Kids don't usually go back here until after Labor Day, but I know that in a lot of other areas in the country, kids have already gone back, and they may be like 3 weeks deep into the school year already. You might be watching this now and your kid's first day might be tomorrow. Regardless of your situation, whether your kids have already been back in school for a couple weeks or your kids are going back this week as you're watching this, or they haven't gone back yet, or who knows, maybe this came into your recommended videos and it's February right now and you're watching this. You can still implement all of these hacks to help make things run smoother throughout the rest of the school year. If you've been having a nightmarish time, it is never too late to try to implement new things to help make the systems in your house run smoother. So I have one veteran preschooler going back to preschool this year. My son is going into his 4-year-old class, and my daughter is a newbie preschooler. She's starting in the 3-year-old class this year. Last year I was a first-time preschool parent, and I found the mornings to be so overwhelming, and I knew that I needed to really create a system and things that work for our family that were going to make it easier, especially because I knew that like the following year I was going to have 2 preschool kids and it was going to be crazy. So some of these tips or hacks are things that I had been doing from the beginning. Some of these are things I've implemented at different points throughout the school year that stuck, and some of them are kind of newer things that I've come up with recently or that we've been using in other areas of our lives that I think we could kind of implement here too. Now, if you Google tips for parents for back to school, the #1 tip that you're gonna see is everybody telling you to do it from the night before. Do it from the night before, get their lunches ready from the night before, pick out their clothes from the night before. That's probably the most obvious tip you're gonna get, but let's try to be realistic here. The night before, you mean after I've already probably worked a full day or watched kids for a full day, I've cooked dinner, I've folded laundry, I've read stories, I've done bath time. Like by the time the kids go to sleep, I'm exhausted. I've got nothing left to give. I don't want to stand at the kitchen counter and make lunches and pre-prep breakfast and go pick out clothes. Like I'm not doing all of that at the end of the day. I'm done. So I want to help you think even further advanced than the night before. So my first tip is, instead of picking out clothes from the night before, pick them out the Sunday before the week starts, okay? So you have all of that figured out by Sunday night, and the rest of the week you're not waking up trying to figure out clothes and what you're gonna wear. And it's easy enough to swap things around So for example, if you picked out a dress for Tuesday and Tuesday it's raining and it's a little chilly, well, you can switch your Wednesday and Tuesday outfits. It's fine. No big deal, right? You still have all of the outfits laid out. And I mean laid out, like I mean pick out the underwear and the socks. So something I invested in for this year to make this system just a little bit more organized and easier for myself were these little closet hanging cubbies. I've got 7 spaces in them. They're all labeled for the days of the week. This just creates a more organized system. I just put the outfits in the little cubby holes and we're good to go. This way, if I'm not the one getting my kid ready for school that morning, if my husband is stepping in to help, or if something happened to me and my mom has to come to the house to help get the kids ready for school, she can easily follow the system too and just pull out that day's outfit and get them dressed and you're good to go. My second hack is to pre-make breakfasts and freeze them in advance. You can also do this with certain lunch foods as well, and that makes life just even easier. And sure, you could do this on the weekend for the week ahead, or you can do this once a month and knock it out. Every time I make my kids pancakes on like the weekends, I bulk make the pancakes and I freeze whatever is left over and I take them out in the mornings, just heat them up with some, freezer, sausage or whatever, cut up some fruit, and breakfast is done. And I don't have to worry about it. I don't even really have to think about it on Saturdays and Sundays because I only do it when I'm already making pancakes. So it feels super effortless. And this hack works really well on so many different things. Pancakes, waffles, French toast. It also works with breakfast sandwiches. You can make all of the components and then assemble them, wrap them in saran wrap, and then you can pop them in the microwave when you're ready to, dish them out to your kids. You can also do this with little egg muffins or regular muffins. And there's also plenty of lunch foods that you can do this with as well. I've seen people do this with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or ham and cheese, turkey and cheese, whatever your kids like. So, think outside the box. Now, most of what I've talked about so far is staying ready, so you never have to get ready, right? But like sometimes life happens and you thought you had something in the fridge for them that you didn't have or that your husband ate last night and now you can't send to school with your kids for lunch. Things happen, right? Life happens. So hack number 3 is to always have some kind of emergency like lunch situation that you can send with your kids to school. For us, that usually ends up being some kind of like Lunchable. I'm putting air quotes around Lunchable because I don't buy the Lunchable brand, but I buy like either the Good and Gather brand from Target or the Aldi ones. My kids really like those. My kids have always been really big fans of like a cheese board or a charcuterie board. So this to them is like a little toddler charcuterie board. They love it. And at least on those days that I send those, I know that my kids are gonna eat most of their lunch because most of the time the lunch comes back. So we all probably know this about toddlers and young children at this point, and that's that they like to feel a sense of control in their lives, right? They like to know what's going on. They like to help make decisions. It can be really exhausting for them to have somebody tell them all day long, like, this is what we're doing now, this is where we're going, this is what you're wearing, this is what we're eating, and they don't have any say and they don't really know what's going on. They just kind of get dragged from thing to thing. And I know that I would hate that as a person, and so I am sure that they hate it too. But realistically, the mornings are tight time-wise. We wake up and we've got to get out the door. We don't have time to make decisions about every little thing. And on the flip side, we don't have time to deal with all the tantrums that come with not letting them help make decisions and be part of the plan. The hack number 4 came with how I kind of dealt with this situation of the kids wanting to participate in everything and me needing to move through the morning quickly. And that's to create a schedule and review it with them. And I will review this schedule with them day after day after day until I feel like they really know it and it's kind of committed to memory and they've got it down pat. And then I kind of let them lead the schedule. So they're kind of telling me, I'll be like, all right, what's next? So they feel like they're telling me what's next, even though I'm the one who chose what was next weeks ago when we started this plan. Before, I was just writing it down and reading them the schedule, and so they were kind of just listening to me go through it. This year, I invested, again, air quotes around invested because I think this literally cost me $8.99 off of Amazon, but I invested in this little schedule tracker. It actually came in a 2-pack, so I made a morning schedule and an evening schedule. And what I like about this is my kids can't read yet, so they don't know that this says make bed, use potty, eat breakfast, but there's pictures next to all of it and that they can follow. So as well as me reading it to them and going through it with them, they're also can kind of look at the pictures and, figure out what each step is. And then there's little toggles here See if I can get this to focus for you. Yeah, there's little toggles here. So when they make the bed, they get to switch that and it shows them a little green check mark. I'm somebody who likes to make lists and cross things off of lists. It feels very good to me. It feels like I've accomplished something, and like littles get that same feeling too. So I love this, and the idea of this for tracking it, I've already showed it to the kids to kind of get them familiar with it, especially this one. We've already started using this one, and they get really excited over getting to like move the toggles over to the completed side. And when you can get your toddler excited about something, that's usually a good indicator that that might stick. Another thing that I have in common with toddlers and young children is that we struggle with time management, okay? Time management can be hard, especially for those who can't tell time, like toddlers and young children, okay? Telling a toddler, we have 5 minutes until XYZ isn't super effective, because while you're communicating with them and you're trying to let them know like what's going on in the schedule, right? They don't grasp what 5 minutes means. And you can even set in a timer, like we were setting the Alexa timer all of the time when we were taking turns with the TV and things like that. And it was really hard for them, because although they like the comfort of knowing a timer is going to go off so mommy won't forget that it's going to be my turn next, they can't actually see anything. So that 5 minutes feels never ending for them. And that's where hack number 5 comes in. And that is to use a visual timer to help keep your kids on track in the morning. I picked up this little guy off Amazon and my kids love it. So when you turn the little dial here, it creates a rainbow. And you just set it for however long you need to set it for. It'll count down. So as time passes, the rainbow will get smaller and smaller. And then when we get all the way back to 0, this will ring. There are a variety of ways that you can use a visual timer in your house with little kids, and it is very effective and very helpful. So the way I would use a visual timer in a situation like getting ready for school, where we gotta follow a schedule and we gotta kind of keep moving and get out the door, I'll say to the kids, okay, we've got 10 minutes and we need to brush our teeth and get our clothes on in 10 minutes. And I'll assign one of the kids to be the timer captain, and their job is to check the timer periodically to tell me how we're doing. I'll say, Josiah, is the timer almost at 0? How much time do we have left? I still have to get Ari's socks on. And he'll be like, it's almost there, you gotta hurry. And like that keeps everybody engaged, and it kind of makes it like a game. Hack number 6 is to incentivize and offer rewards to your children for getting through the schedule, in a timely fashion or without tears or whatever. If your goal that morning is to get out of the house 10 minutes earlier so that you can stop for like an iced coffee on your way to the drop-off line, and you're like, guys, if we can do the morning routine extra fast this morning and finish 10 minutes early, mommy will let you pick all the songs on the radio on the way to school. My kids love that. It allows them autonomy to make decisions, right? And they get to hear what they want to hear. Probably means that I'm listening to Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso 18 times in the car, but I got my iced coffee, so it's okay. Or another simple thing is like, if we can get through the morning routine without any tears, we can have a 5-minute dance party in the kitchen before we leave for school. Let's go. These are things that my kids love. It takes nothing from me, right? It doesn't cost me any money to reward them in this way. As a matter of fact, you're helping build some core memories with your kids, because these are things that they probably enjoy doing with you. Singing along to the songs they love in the car with you, or getting to have a little dance in the kitchen. Like, they love that stuff. And it costs you nothing, and it means so much to them. And it's a fun way to start off of the day, right? And you're getting them to school on a good foot where they're like nice and happy. My 7th and final back to school hack for preschool parents is to keep emergency kits in the car. I have 2 different ones, okay? I have one for food, and then I have one for doing hair. Being prepared is key, right? But sometimes life just happens, and you're not always gonna have a perfect morning. Sometimes you're gonna oversleep. Sometimes your kids are gonna wake up crabby. They didn't get enough sleep maybe, or they didn't get good sleep, and now they're, little monsters in the morning. It happens. I'm like that sometimes. You gotta cut people, including children, some slack in the morning. Mornings can be hard. For those mornings where nothing is going right and we are so short on time, maybe there is absolutely no way that we have time to sit down for breakfast in the house. If you gotta eat it in the car, you gotta eat it in the car. And that's better than nothing. So I keep a little snack bag in the car that has, you know, mini muffins in it. Not the healthiest thing, but you know, it's not the worst. And you know, sometimes a little chocolate chip muffin does the trick. I keep some trail mix in here and granola bars, all kind of like quick breakfasty snack foods. Other things that you can grab from your kitchen and take with you that I always like to have on hand: bananas and those little yogurt tubes. So I have a little hair emergency kit because listen, sometimes I don't have time. So I usually just do it when we get to school and I'm waiting in the drop-off line. So in my little hair kit, I have just a spray bottle with water. I have a little mini hairbrush, some bobby pins, hair ties for my daughter, and then a little bit of this like air dry styling lotion that I would put in their hair to keep them hydrated, or to like slick my daughter's hair back for a ponytail or whatever. It's not anything extensive, it's just the essentials and it works. Just a little side note, in the description of the video, I'm going to link all of the different products that I kind of talked about in this video, like the little clothing organizer, the little visual timer that we love, and our little schedule charts. So you can see all that there if you are interested in getting them for yourself. The only one you actually would need to buy to participate in all of these hacks would be the visual timer if you don't already have one. Because with the clothing organizer, like, you don't necessarily need to buy a labeled clothing organizer. You could buy one of those from like Walmart. It doesn't have to be labeled. Or you could just lay them out in the kids' drawers if you've got room to do that, or in their closet. You don't need a special gadget to better organize your stuff. I'm sure you can figure out a system with what you have. And like the schedules too. Like if you have a dry erase board anywhere in your house, or a piece of paper and a pen, you can just write it down. You can draw the pictures yourself if you're artistic. Get a sticker. Sometimes I like to have the thing to make my life a little bit easier, but I understand if you're just implementing this, you might want to test out if it works before you make any investment in the actual tool. So I'm curious and would love to hear from you. Which hack on this list do you think would be the most useful for you and your family in your morning routine for back to school? Also, if you've done any of these, or you're currently doing any of these hacks, let us know how it's going down below. Leave us a little review. You can give this video a little love by clicking the thumbs up like button. That really helps out my channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to get more videos from me in the future, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh, last tip. If this is your first time being a preschool parent, pack tissues for yourself, not your kids. You're gonna cry.